Okay, let's get this. I should be live, ladies and gentlemen. Let me look here. Let me look that way. Alrighty then. Huh. All right. Since that's uh, hopefully there's nothing wrong. I just saw something freeze there. Looks like my picture is a little bit blurry. Well, we're just going to go with it, folks. I hope everyone's doing well. I don't really give a lot of notice, but we're doing live streams and that, and I have to do YouTube only right now because I don't I don't see, evidently live stream is not giving you any hours for free, or if they are, I just haven't figured out how to do it. Now that being said, hopefully you're watching anyway, whether it's live or after it's done and it's pre-recorded. But anyway, we had a good day today. We still have to go grocery shopping once a month, which we do, and we did that today and got stuff as best we could, as healthy and as well chemical free as we're able to. We're working on it, try to become totally self-sufficient, and it's a long process, frankly. Now that being said, there's a thing been going around. I've told you about the bed gardens that we have growing. I've told you about the bed gardens, the future bed garden I have that I'm working on this year to go ahead and so I can start growing things in there next year. And I have a combination of things: dog poop, chicken poop, the shavings that come from the coops when I clean them, food scraps, dirt that I dig up from the ground. I just yesterday dug up a couple of more, or for that future bed garden anyway, a couple of bucketfuls of dirt and clay, and I poured it in there. I'm also still building some things on there to get it ready because we're going to have a trellis over it. But that being said, we have some things anyway. Thank God the tin cutting that I had to manually do, and where Deb held the tin kind of in a humped position, where I could get to it more easily. Hopefully, or I don't think we have any more to do that for that particular bed garden. That tin is all free. It was here before we got here, and so that being said, we were that was a bummer, but I got through it, and so did she. Now we're growing things already, and we were going to be growing things in the future. Very what do you call it? As nutritious as we can, and of course, it's going to be as pure as we can get it for this lifetime. But we're trying to, we eat too a lot of carnivore. I eat a lot of red meat and a lot of non-red meat. Like beef is red meat and that. We also eat, like we bought chicken today. Now I have chickens on the homestead, but we don't have any that I want to butcher yet. We don't have a lot of them. As far as full grown hens, we have enough to eat our own eggs and stuff. So I don't have to buy, which I'm not going to anyway, but we don't need to buy any eggs because they're mRNA, and then there are some eggs being sold that are directly made out of a lab. I don't want to go near those. I do not want to go near those, and that being the case, we have enough that are laying right now. If they all molt at one time, we just won't eat them. That's what will happen until they start laying again. Now, when I say we don't have enough hens, and roosters that we want to butcher right now, because we did butcher a rooster fairly recently. We will in the future. We have 28 biddies. I don't know if you can hear them or not, but we have 28 biddies in a large tote, a little ways behind me, about 15 feet, I suppose, under a heat lamp. And we will keep 3 of the roosters that we think more than likely will be docile enough. They'll do their thing with their hands and be protective of them, but they won't be aggressive otherwise. The other roosters, when will be anywhere from 8 to 10 months old, and we'll butcher them one right after the other and throw them in the meat freezer. Meat packing school. We love our meat. And there's a lot of good arguments made for carnivore now. It evidently takes away a lot of pain and stuff, makes people feel better, gets them healthier. And I'm in agreement with them. Who am I to argue? I've researched it enough, and I've listened to enough people. I don't remember all the names I've listened to, but I listened to Joe Rogan. I listened to Stephen C. Smith, who's got that channel, Integrated Preparedness. Little House Off Grid with Robert talk about it. I do Appalachia's Homestead with Tara, and you look at her husband James, he's lost over 100 pounds, folks. And they're working out and stuff too, of course. I do my workouts at home now, whereas they're hitting a weightlifting or some kind of fitness gym. And that's great. I know all about that stuff. With not having our own vehicle currently, and really just due to money, I don't want to. God only knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I spent on martial art gyms, dojos, dojangs, seminars, tournaments, and fitness and weightlifting gyms I've done in the past. I just don't want to do it anymore. And I know more than enough of what I'm doing. It's not a big deal, but it's good to exercise. I still do my calisthenics and that. I work in the homestead here. I pretty much do 99.9% of the hard labor. So we're good there. Now, saying all this, there's a thing going around, and evidently it's being dropped off in boxes for that matter. I've listened to a lot of people talk to it. And I'll type it in. Oops. Lone Star ticks. They're not normal. In fact, I pulled a bunch off of my 71-pound albino Ayla today, walking her, before they even started to dig in. I've had to pick them off of Kakarot, my 97-pounder, and I've had to pick them off of my pup, who's over 90 pounds now. They have like a white spot on the back. I've had to pick them off myself. Deb and I check each other every night for these dumb things. They're engineered, by the way. And I've listened to people, and I have to assess it. I believe they are. There's some people, they had them on them long enough, like say around 24 hours or more. Eat red meat anymore. Like one guy, he eats a lot of chicken. He's sick of it because he eats so much of it. But he can't go back to beef and pork and that. I don't eat pork, but it is a red meat. In that. So he got it enough to where, and he wasn't keeping an eye on himself. And now you have some people, depending on their system and depending on the time, especially if they've had those ticks on them for over 48 hours, they have to become a vegetarian. The meat allergy gets so strong. Some people have evidently died. I've listened to it. Some people talk about it on Facebook and that when my wife has brought it up. She mainly does most of the Facebooking and Messenger, but I listened to some of it. And where type of meat, red meat nor non-red meat in any way, shape, or form. Some of them can't even eat meat or dairy products like eggs and drink milk and that. So be very aware if you're out in the woods or at least somewhat out in the suburb. Not saying that the real inward city folks shouldn't be aware. They should, but there's people like us who have a lot. I think it's more of a primary concern for us. And this is being done on purpose. Now, yeah, in fact, I'm going to get checked here not too long after I get offline. There are those who've been affected by it. They can't eat any meat anymore. There's a good argument about people that are being vegetarian, especially the vegan and the raw vegan, about how they can affect their brain. It can, their health, and they can't cover everything. Well, I would hate to have to be in that position. I like my meat. But for those of you who might be victims of this, there are other alternatives, and I think it can be done. I did some research on this, and let me think. Let me get it here for you. Aha. Here we are. And I'll type them in too. I came up with 16 different types of plants that are proteins that are, some of them are just as good, and evidently in some cases have more protein than beef does. Well, one is dried lentils. 2, hold on, chickpeas. Oops. Yep. Now 3 is quinoa. 4 is edamame. 5 is chia seeds. I'd hate to have to be in this, but I like all this stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat a vegetarian meal for that matter. But I'm not going to become a vegetarian, much less a vegan, and even less a raw vegan. Some people do it, and they're really successful with it. It's normal for them. Now, 6, I'm very familiar with, because I've been known to take spirulina chlorella. This is spirulina, is how I found it in the research. 7 is seitan. Okay, 8 will be halfway to my 16 alternatives for you folks. And you can look up and find more. You don't need me to do everything for you here. Amaranth. Yeah. 9 is oats. 10 is peanuts. Here's the problem that I have with peanuts. I lack a lot of teeth. I can still do it, and sometimes I do, but it's a bummer. It is not easy for me anymore. 11 is another one that I like and have problems with, is almonds. 12 is sunflower seeds. Hold on. I want to mistype here. These I can have a hard time with too. If how you just put a bunch of seeds that you buy that are not have any shells with them, you just, I that's my habit with them. But I can chew on them and take a long time to do it. And it's just how I have to do it until I decide to get some dentures or something. I don't know if that would help me any though. Anyway, 13 is green peas. Number 14 that I found is kale. 15 Oh, I wrote it twice, didn't I? Hold on. Yeah, I put 15 was kale. Oops. Okay, number 15 is hemp seeds. I'm not talking about getting high here. That's what I found. I see more in there. I just haven't done a lot of research in the sense of getting it ready for a video. All I'm saying though is, you get these things. Let's go over them again. 1 is dried lentils. 2 is chickpeas. 3 is quinoa. 4 is edamame. 5 is chia seeds. 6 is spirulina. 7 is seitan. 8 is amaranth. 9 is oats. 10 is peanuts. 11 is almonds. 11 is 11 is almonds. 12 is sunflower seeds. 13 is green peas. 14 is kale. 15 is hemp seeds. So that's what I got readily to give to you people. A lot of this is good stuff. Some of it has more protein per weight than evidently a cow does, as in beef. Okay. I don't want to have to be forced to do that myself. I'm just making the point, because evidently that's what these Lone Star ticks do. And there's not just the Lone Star tick that I mentioned with the white spot on the back. It's not just, there's a new one that's even more deadly or whatever that can get you sick and everything. And you can have a major problem with it. And you have to, I would hate to have to live my life like this. You people, I've given you a lot of things, even like in this live stream, I gave you about what I'm doing with putting compost into my future bed garden for next year. I pretty much did it with the 4 bed gardens, numbers 1, 2, and 3, and the middle one that I call it, that we're growing things in. We also have, now that I think about it, 3 raised bed gardens. No, I correct that. 4 raised bed gardens. So really we have 7 of them, but I have them numbered and stuff for a reason. I keep things organized on paper. I'll be doing next year that I call bed garden number 4 with the scraps and people think it's gross, but dog poop and whatever, chicken poop and shavings, that's all drenched with pee and poop from chickens. It'll be pure fertilizer, pure ground or dirt later in the future. That being said, and I'm also going to be, like I've done before already, I'll be buying bags of soil, of dirt. And I'll be adding a few each month to this future bed garden for next year. I also told you about how I added tree branches and sticks and stuff like that, because that will slowly decompose and over the years. And I shouldn't have to buy any fertilizer with that particular bed garden for anywhere from 15 to 20 years. Now, you do need to know, and I'll say this again, it's on my last live stream that I haven't taken down yet, but I'll repeat it. Like black cherry and that's type of tree and stuff that you want to avoid. And I haven't found out why, but I pretty much trust that channel, Eureka Stellar. And here's another reason why I trust it when they talk about what you should and shouldn't use. Well, our wonderful man a wonderful billionaire who seems to care so much about the human population and the growth of it, his land where he has trees cut down and he has them buried. Well, it's pretty obvious why he's doing it. Here we are. Okay. These are the trees or wood, types of wood to avoid. avoid black walnut, avoid black cherry wood, avoid cedar wood, and of course pressure treated wood. Okay, don't put those in your future garden. So, and I do want to get more information on that to be able to relay here. So, but these things, folks, they're finding, farmers and homesteaders and whatever. I have not yet, and I will, keep an eye on my property, the acreage, just a couple of like that. I'm not, if it's not open, I'm not going to. I already know, I know my area well enough, what's there and what's not. And if I find something there that I shouldn't like that, then I'll have to decide how I'm going to deal with it. I suppose the best thing I could do is put it in one of my barrels and burn it. But then again, if I find out who did it, I just may send it right on back to them. So that being said, I don't really have a lot more to say. It's been a really a learning experience for Deb and I with this new homestead. Actually, technically, we've been here now. Now we've been here longer than what we were in Florida, but this is a different environment, a different type of soil, and we've had a lot of learning curves to get through. In some ways, we've been like novices, beginners, because we really had it going on. And we were we were very successful in Florida, or a bunch of psychopaths stopped us. So, but it's kind of new to us here, and we've been learning how to deal with it. And Elohim has been getting us through it, and now he's been making us more successful and stuff. And we've had some real trials and personal tribulations and that, but we've been enduring. So other than that, I really don't have a lot to say. I just I wish you all well. I hope you all share this video. And if there's a way to get this, if you can share it with all the information that I typed in. I didn't type in the black cherry wood and all that, but I did say it. I don't really feel like typing it in. But if you can share this video around, I don't make any money off of YouTube. I never have off of YouTube directly. Even with some of the videos that I was viral on, I just didn't get any money for it. So that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to help other people. And you can look at your own situation and do some research and see what you want to see, what you're capable of doing, and what you are allowed to do. We can get into the conversation that is constitutional. You can do it all, no matter where. And you're right. But that doesn't mean the current authorities will go along with that. What they did to us in Florida was unconstitutional, I guarantee you. But if I would have tried to bring any of that up and fight them, I might still be sitting in a prison, Florida prison. Who knows? Or just getting out now. Who knows? And I wanted to be out here and be out for Deb. So why is my thing bouncing? Am I bouncing that much? Okay. I don't really have much more to say. I thank you for listening. And thank you for giving me the time. And I hope you, I know this is not overly exciting, an overly exciting video. I really don't want to be playing things right now and doing debunking people and exposing them. I don't mind saying the names here, like William Henry Gates III. He's an evil little prick. He could take his billions and blow, as far as I'm concerned, but that's not going to happen. He's bound and determined to do what he's going to do, and he's not alone. And it's up to us to trust the Lord and do what we're going to, do what we can. We're going to fight for our lives here, folks, with all the things they're doing. Trump is a lot different now in the term that he's in. He's a lot different now than what he was in his first term. Maybe being pursued relentlessly for the 4 years after he was cheated out messed him up. I don't know. We're in a war with Iran. that I don't like. I don't mind the powers over there that be getting pounded like they are. That I'm fine with that. I feel, and even though I feel bad, and it sucks to, I don't want that to happen to the Iranian peasants. But there's two things going on there. One, we're in no position to help them until we get our ducks in a row in this nation. And I'm not so sure that's ever going to happen. And for another thing, folks, they're in the wrong religion, anywhere from the regular peasant to the lowly peasant up to the high up, whoever is in charge and alive for that matter right now. So if they see something being dug up and uranium and stuff like that, just send the Air Force over, Navy pilots for that matter, bomb them again, bust their bunkers and come back home. But that's not happening. That's obvious. The Hormuz and stuff, and being open or closed, but things are a lot different now and a lot of crap going on, and I just mainly look, if there's somebody in another country watching this video, they can take these suggestions to help themselves and maybe a few of their neighbors. Hey, great. I'm all for that too. But because I do online anyway, I know people and keep contact with some people that are overseas and that. And I'm good friends with them online from Australia and from Great Britain and that, when we go to private Zooms and whatever. But I'm primarily concerned with my home nation here, the United States of America. That's who I really care about. And hopefully you people can help yourselves out, maybe help some others out with some of this information. Maybe you can come up with more. Bring suggestions to us. Okay, I'm not going to ramble on. I thank you for giving me your time. I think I've been on here for 27 minutes, evidently. I think that's more than long enough. Take this video, share it, thumb it up, please. Thumb it up. Thumb it down. I don't care, either or, to be honest with you. With the algorithm, doesn't matter. All right, folks. Peace, shalom. The Levite man, Khan. I can't even. I'm so rusty, folks. Let's try it again. Peace, shalom. The Levite con man is out of here.